Hello everybody and welcome to another Stellaris video. Today I'm really excited to show you guys one of the most broken builds in Stellaris history. This is very competitive with the pre-nerf Psionic, if not stronger, and this is of course Virtual. If we take a look at this, we have Virtual fully completed and even an extra addition tree by just year 21, and thus we have a 260 alloys and nearly 3,000 tech by year 21. We could easily exchange tech for more alloys if we wanted. We have also 200 naval cap to go on the offensive and basically conquer the entire galaxy if we wish to do so. And we did it with just 2 planets to represent an absolute worst case scenario. Although with Virtual in this day and age, you would probably want to stick to at most 2 to 3 planets. So, anyways, what is the build we have used to get to this ridiculous state? So let's go ahead and start a new game, and this is the build here. It is the Cat Cube Consolidation, and we use the Resource Consolidation Origin, in addition to Memorialist and Unitary Cohesion, two not very popular civics, in order to maximally rush Unity as fast as possible. Our machine traits are recycled. This gives us extra pop assembly speed. Mass produced, which also gives us more pop assembly speed, high bandwidth, bulky, art generator, and propaganda machines to maximize the efficiency of our Unity jobs, and unitary cohesion just gives us an extra 15% monthly Unity. And in addition, an additional bonus is that we are also a Gestalt consciousness, which for a lot of players would probably help with early game management. In addition, for your homeworld, you should probably go with Deneb, as it just guarantees you a size 20 homeworld, which is very important for resource consolidation. The only reason I had something else selected was it is a rule requirement for some of the more important tournament settings, which I was practicing out. And in addition to that, is that everything important? I believe that cold worlds would probably be the most ideal. As your secondary world, essentially you just want it to be a mineral world and not much else. So let's go ahead and play this build, and I'm going to show you guys every click you guys need to do to get a pre-year 20 virtual ascension. Now, I do want to mention that there is kind of one major limitation with this build, and that is it is much stronger when you play this build, and you are lucky enough, if you are lucky enough to find a Shroud Enclave, and you can then therefore buy a Shroud Governor, you will do much better than if you don't. It's almost plus 50%. So in that case, you could probably, with a lucky enough spawn, achieve a fully ascended virtual, which is basically 4 tradition trees done, by year 15. That's most likely not going to happen, and it did not happen in my practice run, but it was still strong enough to finish your virtual ascension by year 18. So let's go ahead and show you guys what to do. So the first thing you need to do basically is just reduce the number of fabricators you have by a ton, as there's far more fabricators than you need. And if you really want to min-max, you can start off by buying minerals, but we're just going to set off a small energy buy, as we're going to need that going into the future. And as you can see, our starting Unity is not even bad with 48. And I didn't explain why we take Memorialists early, as it is very unusual, but essentially what you get is you get a Sanctuary of Repose, and what this does is whenever you build Unity jobs, you get a slightly more efficient Chronicle drone, which produces a good amount of Unity. As you can see, we're producing 40 Unity just from our complex drones now, and this is going to increase massively as we're able to upgrade our planet. So we're going to start off with Prosperity and prefabricated buildings, as build speed is extremely important. And as you can see, we're also extremely lucky. We start with an Amplifier Governor, which means that's a guaranteed good governor, and we can also buy this governor before year 5 to see if we can roll a efficient builder trait with a amplifier trait, which would be the absolute best case scenario, which is definitely very high roll. And basically the first building you're going to want to go with, now that this is available, is you want to go with an administrative hub. And you won't need these mineral jobs for long, as all you need to do is build fast enough to maintain keeping up with your homeworld, which doesn't take a ton of minerals, like plus 40 to 50 will roughly do the trick. And if you have any luck with your space around you, you won't need any additional Unity. Also, as soon as you start as soon as you finish this administrative hub, I would also recommend going into your government and changing over to manufacturing focus, which basically makes your basic drones produce less and your specialist drones produce more. However, I do find it beneficial to keep using the basic manufacturing focus or the default manufacturing focus, I forget what it's called, just until you finish your first administrative district. In addition, we're basically just going to look for a second planet with a good number of mineral districts. So this size 16 world is fine. Obviously, a larger world is just better. So we would go with this mineral world if that's what we have to do. Although our guarantees are still somewhere because our guarantees should be Arctic worlds, and we have not found any yet. So we can go ahead and branch off our home ships and start to look for them. Also, we're using alloy ships, which is a very nice change of pace, I guess, as a lot of you guys are probably used to the bioship spam at this point, with the number of strong builds that use bioships, and the number of restrictions you have to put on bioships before they become equivalent to alloy ships in power level is pretty significant. Most of these strong bio builds are now banned in multiplayer. That is civilian education. What else? Like the overtuned purity builds. All of those are banned, and you can also actually use this exact Unity Rush to rush modularity instead, and that is also an extremely strong thing to do. So yeah, also here's a size 24 Arctic world. We're going to use that as our second home world, as that looks by far the best, and also you can see why now I've been spamming energy credit bill. Energy credits is, yeah, we're going to need a lot of energy credits to sustain our basic economy here, as those drones definitely do use a ton of energy. And also we're going to go ahead and go on manufacturing focus, and as you can see, we're now producing a genuinely ridiculous amount of Unity. What is this? 212 per month at year 1. So yeah, you can kind of see where this is going. It is definitely one of the stronger Unity rushes to exist in Stellaris history, I would say. So enjoy it while it lasts, and while I would say also this is also a very undiscovered build, which is very cool. I've definitely not seen too many players, and wow, we get an awesome leader here as well. It's efficient builder, minus deviancy, and an amplifier, which is genuinely amazing. What we can do with that is basically completely remove our need for hunter-seeker drones, which is nice. And yeah, we'll take that. Like, that's definitely a noticeable efficiency boost to our pops. And yeah, we're just going to continue to go ahead and expand as much as we can. Also, we do need to build some generator nexuses to maintain our basic economy. As you can see, we're buying 40 energy credits already, which is very expensive to maintain. So if you can avoid buying this many energy credits, it is, of course, fantastic. And yeah, well, as we're heading into kind of a lull of this build, I'll kind of talk about why it's so overpowered. Is the resource consolidation world is essentially an ecumenopolis now. If you take a look at the number of jobs these districts give, plus 600 tech drone jobs, plus 6, these are basically the same numbers as you get from an ecumenopolis, which gives you an insane advantage when it comes to like just fast development. And this is also why you want to play in resource consolidation now instead of trade ring, as trade ring used to be one of the strongest rushes for virtual, except it had one major disadvantage, which is you couldn't build tech very quickly on a trade ring. Now, with one simple building, like which takes just over a year, getting access to hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs for technology or alloys or whatever it needs, you're basically converting building slots into jobs twice as fast, if not faster, than you were previously able to on any other build, right? Which genuinely makes this just a disgustingly strong build, and probably one of the strongest in Stellaris history. I think maybe only that funny psionic rush build I showed off earlier, when that was just completely broken, was probably stronger. And yeah, this is definitely the strongest remaining build that I can think of, at least for early game, as I can't think of too many builds which would be able to fend off like a year 30 from a virtual build that ascends at year 18 and has, 12 years of 300 plus alloy production, um, and more than enough naval cap to just completely wipe you out. Um, I reckon you could probably get like a 100k cruiser by year 30 if we really played it well or got lucky. And of course, that would increase rapidly after that as well. And yeah, we're gonna see what we can do here for year 30. I'm really curious to see just how much we can get, and it should be pretty fun, right? And yeah, we're just gonna basically just continue to rush Unity as fast as we can. At some point, we want to disable basically every single job, including Replicator, and we're just gonna have uh, Chronicle drones, tech drones, and maybe logistics drones, and nothing else. No fabricators, no replicators, no tech jobs. Of course, we're not lacking resources yet, but we're just going to continue to go out into the galaxy also and look for the Shroud Enclave. I very embarrassingly cannot recognize the enclaves just by the way they look yet, so don't judge me too hard. I only have a few thousand hours in this game and still can't do it. So yeah, sorry for the skill issue there. Please tell me in the comments if you know how to recognize them. I guess I could always just go on the wiki and look up exactly what each enclave looks like, and that would probably solve my issues here. Uh, but since we're not route of envoys yet, we can just do a first contact on every enclave we find, and it's not a big deal if it's not the right one. As we're not wasting the potential to find the Shroud Enclave anyway, as that is the only enclave we get a big benefit from. So I now explained why the Shroud Enclave, or why you want the Shroud Enclave, what makes it broken, and that's simply that the Shroud Governor you can buy gives you +1 Unity, I believe, to your Chronicler jobs per 100 Chronicler jobs, and it has a guaranteed amplifier trait on it as well. So yeah, you can imagine how that stacks up to create a truly ridiculous amount of early game Unity. I've seen the likes of 800 at like year 7 or something like that. We're still gonna have a lot of Unity at year 7 or 8. Don't worry, probably around 500 if not more. It would be higher if I remembered to build my Nexuses on time, but of course, I'm yapping and exploring at the same time, and my low multitasking capability is holding me back. Alas, that's not a big deal. It is very good to remember to send out your ships if you're playing in single player and truly want to minimax the effectiveness of this build. I would personally recommend playing on 200 stars, as you're less likely to get outscaled by a massive AI empire, although let's be realistic, that's not going to happen anyway. And more importantly, you're much more likely to just be able to find the Shroud Governor straight up as soon as you start exploring out to the galaxy, because there's always going to be, the Shroud Enclave is always going to be there, and since the galaxy is smaller, you're obviously more likely to find it. So also, we can build up 2 of these star bases here just for basic economy, and also just start to claim some of the nearby area just so we have enough systems to actually play the game once we are done ascending, which is of course still very important. And yeah, you can see also our build plan is simply building up more coordination nexuses, as this is the fastest way to get more unit jobs. You don't have to touch our starting districts, which is nice, although we are of course starting to disable most of the jobs. I think once we build those 2 star bases for economy, we can disable our fabricator job too, which will net us 0 alloys, but it'll save some minerals so we don't have to buy any, and allow us to focus on saving up that trade for a cloudy day, basically, as the cloudy day will come. Don't worry, our coordination nexuses are going to cost a ton of energy credits to maintain. And if you want, you can build an additional science ship and start scanning the galaxy for mineral rich looking systems like this one. However, it's not too important in my opinion to min-max your star systems, as you're just simply not extremely likely to find a crazy number of useful star systems nearby. But if you're lucky, it can make a pretty big difference. And I've seen that most min-maxing players can actually check a system like this and see, there's a lot of molten worlds or something, and that means it's a system that is very likely to have a high amount of mineral deposits. I am not that sweaty yet, and I can't just look at a system and go like, oh, this system must have 12 mineral deposit or something like that. But from what I can tell, some players can maybe not guess accurately, but more accurately than me on which systems that they should claim first. And it shows that there's just a ton of mini-maxing opportunity in Stellaris that is not yet 100% explored, which is pretty cool. And yeah, as you can see here, we're building yet another coordination nexus, and this is going to mean we're going to start to run out of jobs on our homeworld, which is really, really crazy. Alright, excuse me there, I had to do a quick little sneeze. Let me just also check in case I forgot to go manufacturing and isolationist, but I have, so we're all good on that department. And yeah, now we could just finish on continuing our traditions. As you can see, our traditions are not that important. I mean, there's a lot of viable things we could go here. Tech ascendancy, enigmatic engineering. It really doesn't matter too much. We're probably going to just go with imperial prerogative, as it's not bad for keeping our empire size low, even as we start to take systems. And we're going to also colonize the second planet here. And simply, this is going to be our mineral planet. I haven't even checked how many mineral districts, but it's a size 24 planet. It's going to be at least a few. And that's basically the only planets we're going to want to take. If you find another really good planet, like a world that can be converted into an Ecumenopolis, a relic world, or another machine world, or just another massive planet, it can be worth taking. But since we get access to an Ecumenopolis this early into the game, and that you can build research extremely efficiently on an Ecumenopolis now, kind of like how in the old virtual days, the best thing for virtual was a habitat, since habitats can build research districts. Now Ecumenopolises can build research districts, so no need for sweating over research anymore and needing to build buildings everywhere. We can just build a few research districts. Probably like you want one specific for engineering, and then a generally good amount of the other society and physics tech, maybe with a small bias to physics if you can somehow manage that. But overall, it's not too important. As long as you're engineering biased, you should be okay, as engineering is just such an important tech. And as you can see, this is why I wanted to save on trade and energy and all that earlier. Is looking at our economy, it's not fantastic. And we even need slightly more alloys here, so we're going to just enable some fabricators until we can build up our basic resources here simply from these star bases. And yeah, you're going to find when you play this build, your economy is going to be clinging for dear life at certain points. And that's part of the fun, to be honest. Anyhow, let's go ahead and just, finish our leader traits here. And one thing you can do is you can simply finish finding the voice early, as it gives a huge boost. You can start favorite society. Favorite society, of course, helps you out with your basic resources. As you can see, that is a very, very big struggle, so it could be worth doing. And we're definitely going to do that here, as, yeah, like just keeping this basic resource afloat is looking pretty difficult. Honestly, I should probably convert this nexus to a generator nexus, but we're going to go the more risky route and do one more set of Chronicle drones before we switch over. And yeah, if we take a look at our empire now, what are we making? 523 unity at year 7, and we haven't even found the Shroud Enclave. Also, we get strategic resources here, which could be useful. We could buy a strategic resource instead of producing it, which will definitely save our building slots on our capital, which is obviously something that is potentially a restriction for scaling later. As we only have these, how many building slots do you get now? 9, 12. Let's see. So it's 3 times 5, I believe. So 15 building slots, but 1 is always your. What am I talking about? These are 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3, 21. You get 20 building slots per planet now. So yeah, that's definitely a huge amount of building slots. So I guess like 3 building slots for basic resources, or not basic strategic resources, motes, gases, and crystals, is a little bit annoying, but not a deal breaker. Um, and yeah, you can also see now we're having a lot of problems maintaining our energy credits. So let's be a little bit cautious here. Let's disable these fabricators, as we can now afford these 2 solar panel networks. And as you can see, our economy is clinging on to by a razor's edge. And you can even go ahead and sell some minerals at this point, as we're not going to need them. And they're just going to be, they're going to be useful to turn into some trade, which is a resource we can use. So yeah, just be careful with that. And here's kind of a interesting point for choices, is there is a lot of useful things we can get here. You can go logistics, you can go synchronicity, you can go supremacy. Since our economy is not, we're not going to be so focused on year 30 war, we can probably go logistics here. And the small amount of extra trade we're going to get is going to help with our economy quite a bit. And trade does become a problem in general with some Gestalt builds as soon as you start militarizing. So yeah, it is definitely good to have trade. Logistics drones from districts and non-capital buildings is also pretty helpful to give us just a higher logistics drone cap for extra trade, as once we start building ships, it is really hard to have enough trade as a Gestalt. Yeah, anyhow, as you can see, we're absolutely flying through our traditions. As our emperor size is still below 100, despite the fact we have a second planet and a decent number of pops, which is really, really nice. And yeah, at this point, we're kind of just waiting for our science ship to do its job. So we can also just go ahead and probably turn on Map the Stars. It costs like 6 Unity to turn on and increases our survey speed just a little bit, in case we can find some good systems for resources. This is a great arc furnace system, by the way. You know if a system is a good arc furnace system by if it has 2 rings. Almost all 2-ring systems have a molten world, so that you can build an arc furnace and have at least 15 arc furnace deposit sites, but the average is more like 17 or 18. So yeah, there's simply great locations to build star bases and stuff at. So yeah, do keep that in mind. I don't know what we really want here. All of these are fine. Feedback loop is great, I guess. I guess feedback loop is slightly less important when you're playing virtual. As I guess it's still important, so let's not ignore it too much. We could even turn on research subsidy here, but it doesn't do anything. But our edict cap is so high that we'll turn it on anyway, and that is on purpose, by the way. It's somewhat important to have a very good edict cap when you are playing something like this build. So yeah, just do keep that in mind. And why you need a high edict cap is simply to make sure you can turn on all the subsidies once those are available to us. Of course, since we're producing no tech, we don't have access to most of the edicts right now, but we will very soon after Ascension. As you can see, once you've reached this point, where you basically have no jobs except for Chronicle drones, tech drones, and logistics drones, you want to start building up districts that you want to have for when you do finish Ascension. So one of those is an unspecialized nexus, which we can then upgrade into a specialized nexus to give us a good chunk of jobs when we are done ascending. What else do we want here? None of these are too important. I guess blocker clearing is fine. And yeah, we're just absolutely flying through these traditions as well, which I love to see. And we also have been forgetting to move our ships out for a long time, so anyone who has been paying attention to that, I'm sorry. You can obviously do a lot better job than me, and even if we do find the Shroud Enclave at this point, I will say it is a little late. I mean, I guess it's never too late, but yeah, we've lost the chance for it to be something extremely valuable to us. So yeah, that's not a huge deal. Also, when you make a new planet, you basically just want to disable everything except for logistics drones, as the amount of pops you're going to get on it before you finish Ascension at this point is not significant. At some point, we're even going to disable the replicator drones, but I haven't never done the math on what is the correct time to disable the Nexus drones. I remember on old Virtual, it was like 4 or 5 years before Ascension, something like that. On this new system where the pops are continuous instead of discrete, it's much harder to say what is the best time. Um, so yeah, because before, right, if you weren't gonna finish producing one pop by the time uh, you ascended, right, why would you bother producing that pop? And now you produce like one pop at a time, so you produce like 1/100th of a pop from the old Stellaris. So then it gets gray, and I have no idea what the actual best play is. And I forgot that on Gestalt, star bases are 150 uh, alloys. So we're gonna have to sell some more minerals, which is a bit sus. But this is a great star base, so I want to take it. One thing we do need to do on this planet is we do at some point need to start building mineral districts on it. And we also want to specialize this district into something like engineering research, as it's going to be something we're going to need once we finish Ascension. So we're going to need 900 minerals for that. And let's just, pre-build this mineral district because we're going to need that as well. And actually, we should be Machine Nexus for now. Hopefully, I remember to switch that to Mineral Nexus once that is a relevant thing to do. Um, and yeah, just take a look at this Unity. Almost 600 by year 10, and we don't even have the Shroud Teacher, which is still a very, very, very good score. With the Shroud Teacher, this would be over 800, I believe. So, yeah, do keep that in mind. This could be much better than it already is, which is, of course, very, very nice. Amplified sub-processes. Sure, more Edict Cap, never hurt nobody. And this Legion node, let's see what we get. War Algorithms is fantastic, as War Algorithms gives our ships an innate bonus, which is very, very nice. Interesting. Let's assign a leader to some of these. Ooh. Well, this is what I really want an envoy on, as this is an undiscovered shroud. I believe this is one like the trade ones. I believe the Shroud Walkers have a higher amount of naval cap, but once again, I'm not 100% sure. I somehow have played this game for thousands of hours and do not recognize them by looking at them. I don't recognize ships by looking at them either. Some people are like, oh, this ship has no shields or something, and I'm just like, I don't even look at that. Like, when I play against AIs, I either completely lose or completely win, and the ship design is usually not too important. So, yeah, I guess I should probably work on that, as it's a very useful multiplayer skill for sure. A reclamation unit, none of these are too important, but I guess reclamation unit would be nice on our homeworld for once we do finish Ascension. So let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, let's just take a look let's do a little snapshot right here. We're at 565 Unity, and our basic economy is actually holding on, so that's fantastic. We are in a bit of a lull at this point because all we need to do now is we need to go and overclocked, and with this basic Unity production, we should be basically guaranteed to have enough Unity to finish the entire virtual tradition tree once we are done Ascension. So we can go ahead and go on fast here, and essentially all we need to do at this stage of the game is try to have enough minerals to just keep these planets upgrading whilst not actually prioritizing the jobs. So what we want to do with this planet here is, first of all, we do not want any fabricator jobs, as we don't really need alloys right now. As you can see, we've already kind of maxed out these two star bases. I mean, we could build a hydroponics bay and sell those for extra trade, but at this point, I don't even think it'll ROI before Ascension. So instead, what we want to do is simply prepare for when we do ascend. What do we want this district to be? For example, I would want this to be an engineering research district, so we want to build that. And then on our other planet, it's just minerals, right? We do want one planet that is basically entirely dedicated to minerals, as building speed is a very big restriction, and of course we need enough to actually produce alloys as well, which eats a ton of minerals. So yeah, let's just go ahead and convert this into an engineering station. And also remember, sometimes I forget too, but don't spend any Unity once you're on your situation. You want to sit on all your Unity and just make the situation go as fast as possible. Click every option you can to simply make the situation go as quickly as you can. Also, once skipping to favorite society costs like 400 to 500 Unity, I would recommend that as well. as it'll help your basic economy out and even help your Unity a little bit. It's probably about net even for Unity, but it's net positive for your other resources, which of course can matter a lot. And as you can see, we can even stop buying energy credits now with that clicked. And if we were really greedy, and we honestly should be, is we should build another coordination district, which we can't afford. So let's chill on that for now. And yeah, build this coordination district as soon as we can afford it. I guess we could even buy minerals, which feels a little bit blasphemous because we're going to run out of energy as soon as this is done. I know how this goes, kind of in a sense. And yeah, it's so tempting to use that Unity, isn't it? But you just got to avoid the temptation and continue on. This system is great, isn't it? 20 minerals from one system. This is why scouting is important. If I was mini-maxing, I would have taken this system first and then expanded into this direction. Once I had, of course, determined that this planet was indeed safe to take, in the sense that it wouldn't get stolen to some other empire, as, of course, I'd rather have my size 24 guaranteed than I would get this system slightly sooner. But yeah, just shows the importance of scouting, and also the importance of remembering to disable all your jobs that aren't your Unity jobs. And we can even deprioritize these maintenance drones if we want, I think, at this point, and simply buy the energy deficit that we have. And this should last us until we finish Ascension, which is genuinely awesome, and we can stop selling these minerals as well. Yeah, just a lot of micro optimizations. As you can see, we're up to 620 Unity, and that is with, by the way, a minus 20% multiplier and no Shroud Governor. So I can only imagine how strong this is with the Shroud Governor, because if you know how the math for Stellaris works, the base values matter much more than the percent bonus values, and we of course have very, very big percent bonus modifiers and very little base bonus modifiers. So the base bonus modifiers, like the Shroud Governor gives you, is more efficient than having 10 or 20%. It's probably worth about 50%, which is really, really insane. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so instead we're going to just continue to expand out normally. And we are getting very close to Ascension anyway. Let's take a look at how long this is expected to take. Come on, I'm mousing over you. Tell me when it's done. Is it here where you mouse over and see where it's done? Oh, God. Where do we mouse over? I've never actually tried to figure out when these things will fit. Ah, there we go. 35 months. So yeah, that's not too long. That's like 3 years. Oh no, we ran out of energy credits. We should have been careful about that. Oh dear. Well, at least this is just stall. It does not take them too long to demote back, but that's gonna set us back quite a bit, I think. As yeah, we're gonna have to buy our way out of that for now. Let's just go ahead and buy a couple hundred energy credits. Give these drones some time to demote, and yeah, as you can see on Gestalt, they do demote very quickly, so we should be good there. That's a nice thing about Gestalt, right? Is you dig yourself out of holes fast, and you dig the holes very fast as well, though, which is just something fun to keep in mind, I guess. Let's also just start to go ahead and build these home Nexus districts as well, as those are something that can help us out quite a bit. And yeah, also remember to build out our mineral districts, as we're going to need a lot of those as well once we're done ascending. As I mentioned before, the #1 restriction is your build speed after you're ascended. Also, I think we should go ahead and take one more starbase here, and that's just in case we want a third planet. I would not recommend going above 5 planets. That is the absolute limit for virtual to be good, in my opinion. But since most of our value is coming from the fact we have this one incredible resource consolidation world, and of course our alloy world or our mineral world can actually be upgraded to a machine world as well. Having fewer tall planets is probably better than having many wide planets, at least in the early game. And yeah, of course we want to click virtual. Artisan Troop. The Artisan Troop is actually not bad. It gives us a % unity bonus, which, as I mentioned, is not as good as base, but if you happen to hit it early, you can of course trade 1,000 energy credits for 10% monthly unity, which is obviously a good deal, especially if you're not already about to ascend. We are already about to ascend, but it's still useful. So Also, as you can see, I've been completely slacking on building up these districts, so let's go ahead and continue to do that. And also continue to build these mineral districts, as why not? And how much longer is our transformation? Let's take a look. It's like I have to hover for a long enough time so that I think it's like not working or something. Like, I don't get it. Bury the past. Sometimes, like, normally it used to just, yeah, there we go. 9 months. So we're gonna finish this basically in in year 17, I believe, which is really good. That is better than my test run by a little bit. I guess I got a little bit better, which is really nice. And as you can see, our basic economy is actually thriving now too, thanks to the virtual power plant. Thank you, virtual power plant. Um, and what does that mean? We should definitely not prioritize so many of these menial drones now, and let's also not prioritize these tech drones yet, not fabricator drones yet, and just allow for all possible chronicle drones. And oops, yeah, we can also deprioritize replicators now because obviously they're not going to replicate much before we are completely virtual, which is awesome. And also just, yeah, continuously build up some of these districts. We don't have any of the text to clear any of the blockers yet, basically. And there we are. We are virtual at month 1 of year 18. Okay, so we missed the 17-year cutoff by a little bit. Oh man, I thought I would have enough Unity to completely finish that immediately, but of course we don't. Not a huge deal. I think we want to basically immediately convert this into a research enclave. And then we also want to just go to each of our planets and click restore jobs, as there's no reason for us to not want all possible jobs. And then we want to just go ahead and take a galactic force projection. And, well, just like that, we're a fully ascended virtual empire. And it really did not take us long. We're now producing 600, 1,000 Unity, 200 alloys, and 1,000 tech, with most of it concentrated in engineering, basically immediately. How broken is this? Like, it genuinely awesome. We do need some more minerals now, but we'll get those very soon. Um, let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and queue this up. I think we still have the research enclave queued up there, so that's good. And planetary build speed is an amazing first roll. Let's go ahead and take that. And this is also why we have the edict funds we do, as we simply need to turn these basic resource edicts on as soon as we get access to them. It is super important, and we do get energy subsidies as well. And yeah, basically at this point in the game, we want to just start preparing for our year, presumably 30 militarization. You could go a little bit earlier if you wanted to build more alloys. And what we're going to do is we're simply going to build out these central nexus districts, as those will be our main source of alloys. Of course, you do need to keep up on your minerals just a little bit, so let's actually buy some right now, and then let's prioritize this mineral extraction, as it'll give us access to the actual building for mineral subsidies, and that will help us out a lot. Yeah, I guess we can go alloys here. Also, at this point, we could adjust our species template, as we don't need mass produced, we don't need recycled, and instead we could use something like adaptive frames. We honestly don't have the exotic resources yet, so we'll just go durable or something like that, and then we'll set this as default and get the assimilation going. We don't want to like use a tech to do this assimilation. We can just have it happen over time. One thing to keep in mind also is a very fun tip, and this is essentially if you are playing with a friend or just a for fun game, you can actually be virtual and modularity at the same time. And basically, all you need to do that is you need to have your friend or whoever start with the exact same species name and template as you. And then when you go to all species or something, or like, what should be, is the galaxy species still a button here? Name traits, sort by planets. I don't know, there's a way to do it. Let's see. Sort by rights, no. Empire, species, all species. You might need to have one in your empire now, but previously all you had to do was click on the galaxy species button. I don't know where it went after the UI change, to be honest, or if it even still exists. But if it still exists, you should still be able to pull it off. You could also probably pull it off with a migration treat or something like that. But it is difficult as you need your modularity guy to ascend first, and then you can take all those pops. And I guess you could just do it later as well. It's not a huge deal. Anyhow, let's go ahead and just focus on our actual build, as that could be a video for the future, but I have to work out the kinks on how to do it, of course. So it's not going to be something I immediately figure out, as it wasn't as simple as I thought, of course. Yeah, anyhow, one thing we do want to start to do is we only, like, yes, we have 10 years to prepare for year 10, but we're going to want to start to do a lot of things, like just build more star bases. As, yeah, militarizing quickly actually comes with a lot of challenges. Especially when your tech ramps this quickly. It's like, what tech for my ships do I use? Do I use the old tech that's like slightly outdated? Do I use the good tech that's like that I just got access to? It's always a pretty hard call, to be honest. And also, I think I want to change this archive to a industrial district, as I simply want more alloys, and I feel like I have enough tech. 2k tech is an amazing amount for this stage of the game already. So yeah, we don't really need this archives, but I guess we can just build the central nexus, as that gives us extra alloy jobs as well. And well, we get another, yeah, another alloy job. And once it's year 20 and a half, also we can reform our government. So we can unsubscribe to this now. We don't need the unity. I know we're only creating 128 unity per month, but like, we have 4 ascension perks at year 20. Do we need more unity? Yeah, no. We don't need more unity. So instead, we can basically focus entirely on economy and military techs, which is a nice touch. So yeah, and we can also turn this over to a mining world. As I said, I might forget to turn it back, and we did. So let's go ahead and remedy that. Let's also just, yeah, start to take good military techs. Get ready for probably just some cruisers for year 30. That's probably what I'm going to go with here. And yeah, we instantly finished the research for all those tier 2s as well, which is awesome. And yeah, what we're going to do now is we're going to reform government. Don't need memorialists anymore. Don't need unitary cohesion. Instead, we basically want Constructobot as a mandatory take, and anything else is kind of whatever. Hyperspace is actually quite good if you want to fight. Engineering research plus 20%, also useful. OTA updates, empire size from pop reduction, very useful. If you're trying to scale harder, OTA updates is probably not a bad choice at all. Research alternatives is of course great. But yeah, like, there's just a ton of options. Zero waste protocols, pretty good as well. As you can see, there's just a ton of different options here. Basically, the most important thing is that just remember to take constructor bots, as they are completely OP. One thing that's, how do you get maintenance drone jobs? This is a real question, guys. I don't actually know. How do I get maintenance drone jobs? Because virtual doesn't create maintenance drones, so how do I get amenities? I don't actually really know what you're supposed to do there. So anyhow, I don't really mind. Let's go ahead and just continue researching on a simulation center. Is that how? That's probably how. I have a simulation site, so I guess that's just the upgrade of that. I'm guessing. That sounds about right. We don't really need more energy credits yet. Let's go ahead and take that. And we get cruisers, which is nice. It's basically instant, as you can tell. And we can just turn on capacity subsidies as well. And build one of these. As you can see, our home planet is just like so bottlenecked in the number of things we want to build but can't. It's pretty insane. Build speed. Is this planetary build speed? Yeah, planetary infrastructure build speed. That is, of course, what we want here. Yeah, even this secondary planet here is a bit swamped, as you can see. And we're just gonna like do mining support, I think. Starhold is great. We also need coil guns at some point. But we have a lot of opportunities to research it. I probably want to start building ships at like year 25. As by year 25, that will be probably one of our bigger bottlenecks. But before that, not really. And just remember, let's just start pre-building shipyards as well. as I know I'm gonna need them, and I sure do not need the basic resources. It was 3K tech year 21, guys. 3K tech year 21. just like funny amounts of stuff, man. It is so broken. Uh, Although I do really wish that I wasn't skillishing the amenities on this planet. Yeah, let me know, guys. Like, what's the best way to get amenities as a gestalt when you don't have access to maintenance drones? I'm kind of confused, to be honest. I believe it's probably the simulation site. As you can tell, I'm not the best gestalt player. So, yeah, anyone who is a good gestalt player, I apologize for my incompetence. Anyhow, I just wanted to show broken stuff. So, and even though I'm not playing it optimally, this is, of course, very, very broken. I don't even know what I want here. Base intel level, sure, it doesn't matter too much. We already have star holds. Feels like to me I just started researching and it's already done. We'll just also preemptively turn some of these edicts on, and yeah, machine learning campaign, sure. And what I will say is you basically just want to turn on to it. Can I afford nanite actuators? I can't afford nanite actuators. That's funny because the empire size actually remains. Oh, you can't buy them. So I guess we can't. Unlucky. Urban housing, sure. Battle frame army. Okay, that's great for your 30. And yeah, just pick some stuff. Doesn't matter too much. Let's also remember to upgrade these. I would like the physics one a lot, but I don't even think I queued up a chemical plant. So yeah, let's get that first. We're probably not going to go disruptors. Disruptor cruisers are, of course, absolutely still the meta. And I would recommend them for people who are playing to maximize things. Except, however, there's now a lot of other options, and they're still banned in most multiplayer games, so we're going to go with something else. I don't know if we'll go with Plasma. It's definitely not a bad option, but I'm not 100% sure yet. We also get really fast ships, at least. Fast ships are always fun to use. And yeah, it also is looking like I am going to want a much greater amount of heavy industries at some point. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put them yet, but I think it's this archive district, which also means I should demolish this simulation site as it's going to need to move over to our other area here. And yeah, let's just queue up a heavy industry. As only building up 9,000 alloys, I feel like is a little bit underwhelming. So yeah, I guess we really don't need to prioritize these tech institutes yet. Instead, let's try to get not an alloy reclamation plant, but a metallurgist research lab. Yeah, we want one of those. Probably want one of these. Yeah, there's just so many buildings I want. I can't build fast enough. I need to build faster. And this is a pretty dud of a tech roll here. We just pick the first thing we see. I do feel like I'm producing a bit too many minerals, which is, I guess, not a huge problem, but yeah, just pretty interesting. I guess, little friendly hive over there. At this point, I'm not going to finish this for year 30, so let's go ahead and just take something else and start researching coil guns. Let's see what kind of kinetics we can get in the next, like, 3 years before we start building ships. Let's also remember, oh, do we not have fortify the border? No, we do. Okay. It just feels like we started these upgrades years ago. But I guess our what's it called? Our tech is just moving so fast that it feels like it's been much longer. Railgun, there we go. And let's just keep this building as well. And yeah, we're gonna get the Mechanics Institute. I think we definitely want this as well. So let's get the Mechanics Institute, get that, and then we probably want heavy industry. And then we want metallurgic research lab. And then we probably, does the simulation site even give you amenities? No, it doesn't. Does that give amenities? Do coordination jobs give amenities, guys? I have no idea. I have no idea, man. Sorry for the newbiness, by the way. But yeah, it's just the way I am. Trickster is fine. Oh, we are definitely running low on energy, actually. So that means I'm gonna have to do a pit stop with this grid here, and we do get an access to yet another thing. So we're just gonna go zero waste protocols. I think that's gonna be useful. I love not having to redo the council every time you select one of those. By the way, I play enough bio so that I kind of dread reforming my government because I don't want to click the 5 counselor positions, but it is very pleasant on just alt. You just click it, you don't worry, and your problems are solved. That's kind of how it feels, which is refreshing, I guess. Let's prioritize this energy grid a bit as we're getting pretty low on energy. Over on this planet, I guess here we can experiment with the simulation sites, see if it helps us with our amenities. Because on this planet, our amenities are kind of getting worse and worse. So yeah, there's that. Autocannons, I do not want autocannons. Let's try to skip past that. Forge subsidy, that should be useful. And yeah, we're going to need to start building ships soon. So we're going to need to decide what we want to get. Fleet manager, ship designer, cruiser. Yeah, right now it's either plasma. Ooh, orbital ring. That's a good roll. Yeah, it's probably these tier 2 plasma and just railguns. Machine template system, sure. Ooh, optimized network is probably better. Yeah, job efficiency 5%. It's only 5%, but I mean, what's the other thing gonna do? So yeah, let's go ahead and go to our ship designer here as well. And ooh, I forgot to take supremacy opener. So now I want more unity, but oh, we're gonna only decrease the amount of unity we get by replacing that. So ooh, that's a bit of a problem. I guess if we build one more planet, we could dedicate a considerable amount of it to unity if we wanted. Ooh, we get another tier of railgun. It's like crazy because I always want to delay the ascension, or not the ascension, delay starting to build ships because if I wait like 2 seconds, they'll be better ships. But if I don't start building the ships, then we're gonna need a lot of ship production. So I guess that works. We can just turn like these entire star bases into like just shipyards, right? So we only need a tiny bit of actual ship production, or a tiny bit of time to max out the number of ships. So yeah, that's not a bad idea, but then we have the problem is we're going to run out of naval cap like really fast. But I guess when we start to run out of naval cap, that's when we can start to try to fix that problem. So yeah, we could probably, oh, that's another thing. We probably want another planet which is just naval cap, right? Yeah, that's probably more useful than anything. So let's go ahead and take the next biggest planet in our systems, which I believe is this size 19 desert. And this planet will probably just be naval cap. As yeah, I'm starting to think about that. That definitely sounds like it will be the biggest issue. And yeah, I think we also need to stop procrastinating with building up our ships. So let's go ahead and go artillery, artillery gunship, I think, and then we'll just want to go plasma. Plasma, and then probably like railgun plasma. You definitely want to be biased on the side of not kinetics, or I guess because kinetics only hit shield, which have much lower base values than other types of things. But ooh, we don't have enough power here, so yeah, okay, we'll go only 2 shields, which is a bit sus. We didn't research a single hyperdrive. At least our ships are really fast outside of hyperlane jumps. And let's see, boom, bing. Yeah, we could just patch up our tech with society research, I guess, which is funny. Let's send this ship over here, build an orbital ring, and let's just start building ships, I guess. I'm very curious to see how many we can build. Our minerals are way too much at this point as well. Don't know what to do about that, to be honest. We're just producing too much. Let's go ahead and build some resource silos, I guess, just to try to take care of some of those. That's not a naval logistics office. Oh, right, I don't have the anchorages there, so of course that's not going to work. Life system complex, sure. Yeah, we can research those now. I know our shields are shitty, but who needs good shields when you have just an unbelievable amount more ships than the opponent? That is the plan we're going to go for, and it sounds like a great plan to me, so. Sounds like a fantastic plan to me. As you can see, we are struggling with trade already. So how do we solve that? Well, we sell these rare resources, which in this day and age are not rare at all. Um, and if you're not playing in multiplayer, nobody should crash the economy too hard once you get access to the global market. So yeah, anyhow, we can just focus on other things here, like additional alloys or that kind of thing. And wow, our amenities are not happy. Can I get more amenities, guys? We're making 0 unity now, which is funny. I guess I could make this world like 1/2 unity, 1/2 naval cap, and that should solve most of our issues, to be honest. And probably a little bit of trade, as it will be a big problem to maintain this trade. I'm telling you guys. Uh, I guess if we make a third planet, we can just dedicate a good amount of it to trade. So, where's planetary processor? We don't have a. Oh, we have planetary processors building. Why does it feel so slow? Ooh, naval capacity. That's good. Uh, Unification focus. That would have been nice earlier. Wouldn't it have? Yeah, none of these tech rolls are important either. And yeah, we're now making 400 alloys, maintaining 50 naval cap. We only have 7k ships, which is not fantastic. I'm sure people could probably get like close to these numbers with modularity, which is insane because they're just better than me, but I'm not that good. So, yeah, let's see what we can do with what we got. Reactive armor, sure. We're not gonna bother to equip that, I don't think. But yeah, let's try to get some unity going. Maybe on this planet here. Why not build some uplink nodes? I don't know what else we're gonna use these building slots for, to be honest. So yeah, I guess that works. I guess I could remove one of these mineral supports, as we're producing more minerals than we really need, and just change it for not an archives, but a not an urban expansion, either an administrative hub. I think that's probably not a bad idea, actually. Oh, we're already up to neutronium armor. Pretty insane. Extra naval cap. I don't even think we're going to build many of those advanced complexes, but we can go ahead and queue them up anyway. And yeah, like as you can see, we're just struggling with the build queue. It's an internal struggle. Let's build some anchorages here. And yeah, we're actually short on alloys. So what do we need more of? There's the metallurgic research lab. There's the data-driven research facility. Let's just finish that anyway. And then we don't need the energy nexus yet, as we still have enough. And instead, we can just move up some central nexuses, as I believe each one of these will give us like 1,200 something like that complex drone jobs, which is pretty good. And there we go. There's our first fleet. Our second fleet should be coming out soon. So yeah, we're still doing good. We're still doing good, guys. We have a few years to keep building up this fleet as much as we can. Oh, never mind. Now our energy is unhappy, but we can simply buy some energy, right? Buy some energy. We have a tiny bit of unity. Yeah, I think we were just building too much minerals. So a small build update there, guys, is if you guys are copying this build, turn one of these into administrative hub on your second planet instead of a mining support. You could also go with something like trade, or yeah, I think it's mostly just trade and unity that we're lacking now. So it's funny that we're lacking unity after having 400 earlier, but I guess the other thing you should do is probably skip logistics and take supremacy. Yeah, that is definitely the way to go here. Though if you're planning to just purely scale and not actually have ships for a year 30 timer or something like that, go ahead and skip that as well. You know what I mean? You can greed even harder, and you probably won't take too much consequence from that, which is very funny. So simulation complex, very nice. And yeah, we just want to build more nexus districts. And oh wow, that did cost us a ton of minerals, didn't it? But this mineral planet is not maxed out yet. We can build surface quarry depot on it and continue to expand it vertically, so yeah, no problems there. What is this? Why is our tech so stalled? I guess it's because we deleted that administrative district, right? And also, I believe this planet should have a ring around it by now. We don't have Starforger's technology. Crazy. Crazy we have like 1k tech engineering for like more than a decade, and we still don't have that. Classic. I'm on this planet. Yeah, I think it's just planetary defense, I believe. And then all city districts, as our naval cap is going to become a big issue soon. Although it looks like we definitely didn't build enough alloys, so yeah, hopefully we can remedy that as soon as possible. Oh yeah, I also forgot to turn alloy subsidy on. Let's go ahead and turn that on as well. And now we're producing just a little bit more alloys, which is nice. And yeah, we're just waiting for Star Fortress now, aren't we? Come on, Star Fortress. I believe in you. Yeah, we're just waiting for the right text. Oh, this video's an hour long already, so yeah, thanks a lot if you're still watching, guys. I really appreciate everyone who sticks around this long. So thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys are enjoying and learning something, as this is definitely fun even for me to see the ridiculous numbers. I have not played Virtual for a long time, so I don't even have fortresses unlocked. Ooh, orbital maintenance. What's that? Research from jobs 5%? Yes, sir. Shields, nice. 455 alloys now, and I guess we need some more pops here before yeah, before it lets us move anyone in. Why are they not? Is it because I built the support district with 0 Nexus districts that you get 0 jobs from that? That is quite funny. I don't think I've seen that before. That is a nice touch, to be honest. And yeah, I know our tech isn't going up much, but we have focused a lot of our effort into increasing our alloys, right? And if we had done a better job before year 20, we probably would have had a couple extra districts complete on our home planet, and that would have resulted in a huge amount of fleet power now. And as you can see, we're probably only going to get to like 40k, which is a little bit disappointing. So yeah, I definitely could have done a better job of post year 30. So yeah, anyone who saw that coming, I guess I'm sorry about that. Oh my god, our basic resources, at least we have a buffer, so we're gonna be good for a little bit. And yeah, let's just see what we can get to. Yeah, did I like underestimate the amount of minerals we need? Probably, but there's of course one way to solve that, which is you just disable the heavy industry rare resource buildings, as you probably have a huge buffer by this point. Let's take a look. Yeah, we have like thousands. Like that's gonna last us years. So yeah, remember to do that, I guess, to manage your minerals if you're running low, and then you don't need to produce such a ridiculous quantity of them, which is really nice. And yeah, we can also start to upgrade. Ooh, we don't have enough alloys. Let's just buy some. Upgrade to orbital ring. Yes, sir. We definitely want to do that. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. I guess all we need to do is get the screenshot now, right? So I guess we just gotta play it patient, wait for a lot of these important buildings to finish, and just get like a ridiculous screenshot. I believe the year 20 is honestly the most ridiculous screenshot of like 250 alloys. Or something like that, and 2k tech at year 20. That is definitely the point in the game where your relative power is the highest, and then it just drops off, I think, from there. So yeah, anyhow, I'm still having a lot of fun seeing where this is gonna go. So let's keep playing, right? Let's see just how ridiculous this gets by like year 40. I know like probably some Beastmasters builds with Purity could get like a similar size fleet. It just wouldn't be nearly as high quality. I know our fleet is not amazing, but like tier 2 plasma, tier 4 kinetic with like neutronium armor and tier 4 shields is quite good. I've definitely seen people with like ships that aren't much worse though, with regular builds, but some players are just insane at the game, right? So, oh, kinetic battery. That's a good improvement. Too bad. I should have waited for that. I can wait for that because these ships actually aren't currently upgrading, which is nice. But yeah, at this point, 558 alloys. Very, very nice. Man, like, oh, man, I'm just thinking back. I've seen a player called Pax. Anyone who plays multiplayer regularly should know who Pax is, as, in my opinion, he is widely considered the best player Funnily enough, he's only won a single tournament in Stellaris, I believe, maybe two. But yeah, he hasn't won the most tournaments simply because of his playstyle being extremely aggressive, and then that getting countered out often, not being a part of large pre-teams, which is one of the most winning plays in Stellaris tournaments, unfortunately. But he's widely considered to be the most individually skilled player. And I believe in one game at year 40, he had over 1,000 alloys. And what was it, like 3K tech with 1,200 active nav cap at year 40? I'm playing virtual and I'm not like and I'm kind of close to those numbers. You know what I mean? So yeah, like when you're a great player, anything is possible. Um, that was driven assimilator with not resource controller, with arc furnace back in the day when arc furnaces were even more broken than they are now. And he ate another adjacent one of the same build, which basically doubled his empire on the spot, which was really, really fun to see in live time. And just insanity, to be honest, like complete insanity. And yeah, we should definitely equip this kinetic battery, as kinetic batteries are extremely strong. So let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, looking at this, also it does look like 3 planets is probably the best way to go. Having that 3rd planet just gives you enough building slots to do everything your empire needs to do and more probably. So yeah. Anyhow, it's like yeah. Ooh, what are we missing? Energy credits. Okay, we should have bought some. We have a lot of resources to sell to get more energy credits, so not a huge deal. I am also building an extra generator nexus, I believe, so that problem should fix itself soon. And yeah, we can just build some of the auxiliary buildings as well. And how is this doing? Ooh, perfect. Alloy processing facility on the orbital ring. I forgot to upgrade this, and I don't have even built an orbital ring around this size 19 desert, so let's go ahead and do that as soon as we can. As you can see, we haven't even bothered to build the arc furnace around our good arc furnace system, but yeah, if we're mini-maxing, we could go ahead and do that. And yeah, we're just kind of going along with everything else. Fleet manager. I think we want to equip these plasma cannons as well. And we still have not researched an extra tier of that, which is funny, but it's not a huge deal. Like, we can start upgrading these fleets as we're not imminently going to war with anyone. Yeah, also, if we had remembered to start building armies earlier with our plentiful amount of minerals, we could immediately declare war and take basically anyone over with this overwhelming economy and fleets. So, yeah, there we go. That is basically virtual, right? Genuinely insane how strong it still is. Yeah, I guess don't let anyone fool you. You know what I mean? Like, I believe there's only been a couple videos made on virtual so far, but they definitely were not hitting these kind of fleet numbers at this point in the game. So yeah, definitely a lot of optimization. So year 18 ascension, 18 to 19 seems to be the timing for that. Very, very awesome. And you know, that gives you 10 years to play if you're in a year 30 game, which for some reason does not have virtual band. I don't believe I've seen a lobby that doesn't have virtual band, but hey, in case you've run into that, this is a useful build. In case you just want to run over some AIs and have a lot of fun that way, that also works. I definitely love running over some AIs with some fun builds every now and then. So yeah, there we go. What is that? 600 alloys, 3K tech at year 32, with a stable basic economy and the active 250 nav cap. Very, very nice. I only ended up with 50K roughly at year 30, so see if you can do better yourself. I'm sure you can. Of course, I guess you should also consider the fact that you can turn all edicts on, as it barely costs you anything. Yeah, so that's 70K basically there. And yeah, if you know how to fix amenities on Gestalt, let me know as well, because this is not going in the right direction amenity wise. Anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oops, that's not the stop record button.